Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday's study conversation about the Srimad Bhagavatam. We do this every day. If you're new to the show, you can join us here every day. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, comment, and most of all, share. We want as many people as possible to get the message of the Bhagavatam. It's quite transformational. Good morning, Kastuba. How are you?
Doing good, Raghu.
Everything's going good here. Got a little stormy up here.
Oh yeah, beautiful storms at night. You know,
Beautiful
raining
storms at night. Yeah. And we're overwhelmed with flowers. It's quite wonderful.
Overwhelmed with flowers. Okay.
Overwhelmed with flowers.
Sounds like things are really lovely up there.
It is. And me and Mara are about to go on a little transcendental vacation / writing retreat.
Oh yeah, to Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island, yeah, hanging out with Lord Pag and the Chief. Looking forward to it. We've created this world where we're only hanging around doing work with, business with, traveling with, endeavoring transcendentalists. Isn't it great?
Wonderful.
It is actually great because it's like every time I'm on the phone, it's like, Prabhu, accept my obeisances. Krishna. It's like, that's the way I want to speak to people. I always want to say, Prabhu. I've sometimes even find myself going up to the gas station attendant. Prabhu, can you fill it up with 87, please? I call everybody Prabhu. They're like, what does that mean? Prabhu is it's a way to address another person as my master. And within yoga circles, it's just a very kind way to address another person instead of saying, yo, which is a little demeaning. It's Prabhu. Hey, Prabhu. So anyway, yeah, so I'm going on a little spiritual vacation.
What are you writing?
Working on my next book. What's
it going to be? What is it?
6 Pillars.
Oh, the 6 Pillars book. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And
right.
Yeah, my book's done. It's actually fully done. Went through all the editing and all the copy.
Great.
And I'm going to ask everybody on Zoom to promote this book.
Okay.
You want to get a groundswell. Not everybody on Zoom. I'm going to ask every listener, every other out there to create a groundswell. But when I pull the trigger, then I'm going to tell you exactly what to do.
All right.
I'm really happy with it came out. I had to read it cover to cover.
When can people get it?
When can people? They can pre-order on Amazon. I'm going to let you know, and then it's going to come out though March 1st.
It'll be available March 1st.
First week of March.
And pre-order will be available.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna announce it.
Okay.
We're working on a strategy.
Okay.
All right. So let's dive right into our announcements and nuggets.
Announcements. Back to your recovery group meetings today. The men meet at noon and the women meet at 2 p.m.
Yes.
Also, this Sunday is the Urban Davy meeting through the Bhakti Center website. If you want to join that online, 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Let's do Sweet Baby Krishna tonight.
Okay.
You're running wild, Sweet Baby Krishna.
You know what?
It's
we
so
did
good.
Sweet Baby Krishna last night, and we acted it out.
What did you act out?
We act out the Shringadev pastimes.
Oh.
And we read it from the Amar Chitrikata. It was so good. It was so fun to do. Here's the deal. It's fun.
Okay.
It's like you have to enter into the character. Like Mara played Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad. I play the narrator. And who did I play? I thought I played somebody.
Brahma.
I played Lord Brahma. That was fun.
Yeah.
And so you have to enter into their mind and you have to assume their voices. And it's actually like a practice of bhakti. What must it be like to be Lord Brahma? And then, of course, the Amar Chitrakatak is so much interesting little backstories they bring in the different Puranic takes on the story.
Yeah, interesting ones, huh?
Very interesting little details you miss out on.
Maybe a little too interesting. Interesting is odd or unusually interesting.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so that's happening.
Yeah. So but it was also but the real fun of it is you go to bed just hearing Krishna Leela. Surrounded by the devotees, and you're like, good night, everyone. Then you just trail off and go to bed.
Bonk.
Yeah. So if you're a Patreon member, you can join tonight, 8 p.m. And yeah, we'll do it live with Lori and the Chief. Okay. Maybe Lori and the Chief can play different characters tonight as well. I got a feeling the Chief can act.
Gonna find out.
Let's dive into our nugget.
Yeah.
Sir.
Okay.
Where's our nugget, Miss Mare? Prabhuji. Here it is. This is from Mataji Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
Mataji. Mother Teresa. About dovetailing all that you do as an act of devotion. Ready?
Is that how they refer to her in India? Or
Teresa,
was it just Mother Teresa?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Mata Teresa.
I just made that up. Teresa
Ma.
Mataji.
Teresa Ma.
Teresa Ma. No idea.
Okay.
There is always the danger that we may just do the work for the sake of the work. This is where the respect and the love and devotion come in, that we do it to God, to Christ. And that's why we try to do it as beautifully as possible. Pretty nice. Want to share something?
Yeah. I mean, this is, Mother Teresa, she had another one where she said something, I think it was her, where she said something like, it may not have been her, but I think it was, like, we may not be able to do great things, but we can do like small things with great love. You've heard that one before?
I like that. I didn't.
Yeah. And I think what I like about this is it has a bit of that Bhagavad Gita message in it, that's so prominent in Bhagavad Gita. That whatever you're doing, you don't necessarily have to, because, if you go back to the Upanishadic tradition, spirituality was all about renunciation and leaving everything behind. And that's how you connect to God. That's how you go deeply spiritual. You walk away from everything and you go out there. Here it's saying, no, everything that you do, if you do it as an offering, and if you do it with love, you do it as beautifully as possible, you make it as beautiful an offering as possible, then it becomes very special, everything that you do. And anyone can do that, It doesn't matter what your external circumstances are. So, of course, in the 9th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, famous verse, Yat karoshi yad ajnasi, yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tad karushva mad arpanam, right? Tad karushva mad arpanam, make it, whatever you do, make it an offering to me. Krishna says, right? Whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever austerities you perform, anything that you're doing, the job that you do, the responsibilities that you have in life right now, you can make that an offering to me. And the next verse is less quoted, but a really good one. Listen to this one. You ready, Raghunath?
Yeah.
Sanskrit.
Give me the first line.
I don't think you'll know it.
I might have it in my brain.
The first line is Shubha Shubha Paler Evam.
You know what?
Yeah, I didn't think you knew that.
I got news for you. I had that whole 9th chapter. It's all fading away in my dementiaed mind.
Shubha, whether it's auspicious or inauspicious. Shubha, Paler. Both auspicious and inauspicious fruits, right? Results. Shubha paler evam. Thus, moksha se karma bandhana. You become free from the bondage of your previous activities. When sannyasa yoga yuktatma, when you have your mind fixed in this yoga or renunciation, well, what is the principle of renunciation? It is talking about the previous verse, right? It's saying this is sannyas. When you do, it's not necessarily leaving home and leaving family and leaving society. It's renouncing that I do this for me. That's the sannyas. And doing it as a beautiful offering for God. Then he says, vimukto mam upashyasi. So the translation is, in this way, right? In this way of doing everything as a beautiful offering to God. In this way, you'll be freed from the bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. We're reading now about Ajamila. And in his early life, he was doing all kinds of actions that were bringing auspicious results. Then he kind of collapsed from that, and he was doing all kinds of activities that were bringing inauspicious results. But the yogi is not interested in either of those, right? They want to act on this akarma level, karma-free level, right? And that it doesn't bring any results except I go deeper into my spirituality. So in this way, you'll be freed from the bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and you will come to me. Really, literally what it means is you'll get me, right? You won't get karma. You won't get good results. You won't get bad results like on the material level. You'll get me like that. You'll connect to God.
So there's a lot to renounce besides the obvious. For example, we say, okay, we don't take drugs. We don't drink alcohol. You know, we're regulated our lifestyle. You can be in your family life, in your home, etc., without being this sannyasi or swami. We have a lot of respect for swamis. We naturally do because they're in that position. But there's a lot to renounce. And that's really only seen behind the scenes. Like, we can't see that. Like, I don't know what's going on with Mara. I don't know what's going on with Kastuba. I don't know what's going on with this swami or that swami. I don't know. But for myself, there's an agenda that I have to let go of. I have to let it, again, agenda, like I'm doing this for my ego, for some type of fame, for some type of prestige, for some type of distinction, right? For some type of ego validation. These are the things we have to let go of. We have to let go of it and then transform that into, how can this just be an offering? And that can be done in the workplace. That can be done with having 6 or 7 or 8 children. That can be done. As a matter of fact, sometimes that sacrifice is even more obvious. It doesn't seem obvious. It seems like, well, look at this poor mother driving the kid around. She's absorbed in material life. No, you're actually doing your duties in this world, but actually doing it with love and cultivating a type of sense of, I don't own these kids. I am just loving these kids, but I don't possess them. The griha, the ashram of the griha, of having the home, is a great way to purge ourselves of this concept of possession, this concept of ego. You got a big ego? Get married. You want to crush your ego more? Pop out a couple kids. That'll crush your ego real quick. This is a great way for all of us here, because most of us are not heading for that path of swami, sannyasi. Most of us are stuck in the workplace, stuck with a partner who we're deeply in love with or struggling with, stuck with a bunch of kids who we have loving relationships with or struggling with. And this is a great way to purge us of our purge us of these things that are really actually tying us to this world. And you find the material world is expert at sanding us down, at polishing the diamond. And that's why on a regular basis, we're imbibing this wisdom literature. Why? Because we're going about our day-to-day now in a different way than we used to do it. And now all these little things that were once like minutia of material existence, we're seeing them as like almost like an expert furniture maker doing finishing work, sanding us down, putting the final piece of stain on the furniture. And then there it is. That's our final presentation as we leave this body. it's quite inspiring how the material world can do this for us, even though apparently material absorbed. So all these things are sort of secret. You don't see behind the scenes. And I'm looking at all these people, Nancy Rothman, Melanie Pope, Danielle. We don't see behind the scenes of their life, but this is their interconnection with Krishna. And as they invite Krishna more and more in their life, they appear like they're doing the same old things, but it's not. Now these same things become quite magical, mystical, and liberating.
Yeah.
And mindful towards Krishna, though.
That's, I've, since I got back from Europe, which was just over a month ago, my wife is still in Europe, with her mother in England. And so all of the different, it's not that I don't know how to cook. It's not that I don't know how to do laundry. And it's not that I don't know.
You're great at laundry.
Thank you. And it's not that I don't know how to keep the apartment clean and everything, but like I got here and I realized right off the bat, I said, you know what? I need to focus on doing all the things that my wife did and doing them right. Otherwise, the quality of my life just starts to go down. Like the place starts to get to I need to keep the place like she kept it, spotless. And I need to cook. I need to cook all these meals. It's thrown a ton of chores into my life. And what has helped me also realize is when your house is a temple, then part of the, in other words, the ritualistic practice within bhakti of having, say, a deity of Radha and Krishna in your home is that now the entire home becomes theirs. So like everything you cook, you're cooking for them. When you clean, you're cleaning for them.
It's a great consciousness, huh?
Yeah. And it means that it's just a nonstop meditation from the morning to the end of the day. You're kind of like thinking like a sadhu, like whatever I'm doing, I'm not just doing it selfishly. Let me clean Krishna's apartment. Let me cook for Krishna now. Like that your
let me
mind,
snack. Let me snack for Krishna.
Yeah. And let me eat Krishna's prasadam,
Yes.
and so, yes.
Let's make snacks for Krishna that we can enjoy later.
Yeah, but you begin to realize that even the little things, and it makes me just appreciate my wife so much more because she really does do these things with such devotion. It's this, you're doing the exact same things, but you're doing them in a different state of consciousness. You're not doing them for a selfish motive, but you're doing them really not even selflessly, but selflessly for Krishna. You do it as an offering for Krishna. The quality of your life, the entire quality of your life will change without you doing anything different practically. It's just that what you're doing is you're just surrendering your false sense of independence, and you're recognizing I'm connected to you. That's the nature of who I am, is in my connection to you. I recognize it. It's a beautiful thing. And just by thinking of, it's turned everything into, it's invested love into everything that you do, and everything becomes beautiful.
This also brings up the idea of working in devotion and being mindful, this quote, but we've created a mindfulness, maybe born out of Buddhism or something, where there's a mindfulness and the act of doing things mindfully, but we've sort of taken God out of the picture. So now I'm cutting my vegetables mindfully, cleaning the apartment mindfully, but it's not for God. So we've raised the idea of mindfulness is quite nice, right? But you can be mindful and quite evil as well. You could be a mindful killer. You could be a mindful, fisherman. You could be a mindful hunter. You could be, right? Why not be mindful as an offering to God?
Invested with love, yeah.
Invested with love. It's not just being mindful. That will get to a point of like a sattvic thinking. But sattva isn't the goal. The mode of goodness is not the goal. It just it'll make things, whatever you do mindfully, it'll make it better. It'll have a better result. It'll have a better reaction. But if we actually want to go to Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, we have to be mindful as an offering to God.
That's what makes it extra special.
Extra sweet. All right. What do you say we dive into the sweet Srimad Bhagavatam?
Let's do it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki, by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes. With the torchlight of knowledge, I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 53. Hey, a quick mention. I'm going to be with Kaustubha, and we're both giving a little class in Kirtan, I think, at the Bhakti Center for Janmashtami. That's Krishna's appearance. That's a Wednesday evening at the Bhakti Center. The date of that is
September 6th.
September 6th. Looking forward to that. It's right between our chant camp, which we're going to celebrate John Masmi during chant camp or two, and Lori Pag's retreat. So I'm going to shoot down to the Bhakti Center that Wednesday. And I hope to see everybody there if you're not going to one of those retreats.
All right.
All right, text 53.
So we're continuing with the story of Ajamila. There's a debate going on between the Yamadutas. The Yamadutas just laying out how the world works. We heard yesterday this whole description from them, right, about how we're predisposed to identify with our bodies, but actually our relationship with them is kind of dreamlike, right? It comes and it goes and it's gone, and we think it's real, but it's not quite real. That we're locked into that dreamlike body with senses that are connected to it, and we're trying to enjoy different objects of senses in this world, and that's how we think we become happy. But it's a struggle, and we get mixed karmic results from it. Sometimes we're happy, we're up, sometimes we're down.
They're just sort of laying it out, just like a father would say, listen, you got to get up early, you want to get up early, you want to make a living, you got to go to work, kid, you understand? You got to get out of this house, you got to pay your rent, you got to make some money. And it's like laying down how it works, and all of a sudden the Vishnu Judas come and say, but there's magic too. There's magic in this world, and that's the holy name. It's not just cause and effect. There's also this other magic that will happen that will take you right out of this material world.
Yeah. And so, but right now they're kind of laying out the metaphor that they used was a silkworm, where silkworms were because the silkworm, from the saliva within its own body, it creates a cocoon. So its entrapment is created entirely from within itself, and it spins that cocoon and it's trapped within. Similarly, from within the desires within our own mind, we spin our cocoon and we trap ourselves with our karmic activities. Mm-hmm. And so they're saying, this is what this man did, right? This is what Ajamila did. It's like, we didn't do this to him. He spun this cocoon himself. And we're just carrying out the dharmic law. When someone spins this type of cocoon, then they get this type of result, and he's bound himself, and now he's getting the results of it. That's the argument that they're making. The Vishnu Dutas next chapter are going to respond to this presentation, but they're going to go into more detail now.
Text 53. Not a single living entity can remain unengaged, even for a moment. Meaning every moment you're getting some type of karma. You're doing something, right? One must act by his natural tendency, according to the three gunas of material nature, because this natural tendency forcibly makes him work in a particular way. The fruitive activities a living being performs, whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause for the fulfillment of his desires. This unseen cause is the root for the living entity's different bodies. You guys are getting it right here. The Bhagavatam is dumping the absolute truth right on your. If you ever had a mystery about the universe, like laying in a field at night looking at the stars, what's the mysteries of the universe? It's right here. It's here for you right now. It's landing your sincere prayers. It's landing on your lap. Listen again. Since the living where was I?
Fruit of activities.
The fruit of activities. The fruit of activities. Where, Mara? Point.
Text 54.
54. The fruit of activities a living being performs, whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause for the fulfillment of his desires. This unseen cause is the root for the living entity's different bodies. Because of his intense desire, the living entity takes birth in a particular family and receives a body, which is either like that of his mother or like of his father. The gross and subtle bodies are created according to his desire. 55. Since the living entity is associated with material nature, he's in an awkward position, right? It's awkward. I'm a spiritual being, but I'm associated with material nature. But if in the human form of life, he is taught how to associate with the personality of Godhead, that's what we're doing here, or his devotees, this position can be overcome. It's interesting, huh? We are pure spirit souls associating with matter, therefore identifying ourselves as matter, and now completely confused.
Yeah. It's saying that you may not understand this, but everything that you do brings a result. And it brings you further. It determines what your experiences will be in the future. And most important, most significant is what your body will be in the future. That's karma, right? That there's a result to every activity that I do. And that's what everybody's entrapped in, even if they don't realize it. Now, earlier we just read from Bhagavad Gita, right? How Krishna is saying to Arjuna's about to go into a war, right? He's about to kill. He's even going to have to kill men that he has great respect for, right? And it's not that it's not that the Bhagavad Gita is there to kind of condone violence, but the point is, even in the least stereotypical spiritual setting, it's saying that you become free from karma when you do things as an offering to God. And as we read before, it says, in this way, you will be freed from the bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results, right? So same message here in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. They go to the essence of all the Vedic teachings. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is going to say, this is the secret teachings of the Vedas, right? Now I'm going to reveal to you, the essential secrets from all of these teachings. Just hear from me, Arjuna, right? Because you're in the right state of mind, because you're not envious, you're not hostile, you're not trying to take for yourself, you're open now, then hear these secrets. And so it's all being revealed right here.
It's so interesting. Once you identify with your body and mind, you get into this world of, oh, why did she do that to me? Why did he take that from me? Why is this happening to me? And when you're stepping out of that, you realize everything is getting sent to me by Krishna's mercy. Everything, both things appearing good and bad, are just getting sent to me for my evolution, for my refinement. And once I step back into that frame, I start developing not just a complicated body, a complicated mind, where I'm looking at friends and enemies, and this whole idea of friends and foes, and keep this guy in my outer circle, and I'm going to hold a resentment towards that person. I mean,
are you friend or foe?
Huh? Are you friend?
Remember that one? Do you remember that?
Yes, I did. Agnostic front.
Little agnostic front there.
Yeah. So we should understand, if anybody out there listening to this has an enemy in their life, we're doing something terribly wrong. We haven't figured out this yet. We're still living in the body and the mind. We have to let go of these concepts of friend and enemy, that we have anger towards people. We got to be very, very quick to forgive, and very, very tolerant if we get offended. We're going to be very quick to forgive others, and very tolerant of if people are offending us. And this is going to help us untie that granny knot in the mind that's tying us to the subtle body and gross body. This is work. Go through your whole list of people running through your mind. Who's making you angry, pissing you off, you're holding a resentment towards. That's got to be untied. Make that a number one thing today. It's just going to affect those higher, or else we're going to hit a ceiling with our spiritual life. We're going to hit a ceiling, whether they're devotees that are making you mad or family members that are making you mad. We've got to let go of that, relinquish that, or else we're going to hit that ceiling and our chanting won't be as effective.
That's right.
Text 56 and 57. In the beginning, this Brahmana named Ajamila studied all the Vedic literature. So here's his backstory here.
Okay.
Right? He studied all the Vedic literatures. He was a reservoir of good character, good conduct, good qualities. firmly established in executing all the Vedic injunctions. He was very mild and gentle, and he kept his mind and senses under control. Furthermore, he was always truthful. He knew how to chant the Vedic mantras, and he was also very pure. Ajamila was very respectful to his spiritual master, the fire god, guests, right? It's important to be
the fire god.
It's important to be.
Is that when you just went right past that one? The
no,
fire
I said
god.
the fire god.
No, I know you said it, but I mean, you didn't address it at all.
Oh, okay.
He was very respectful to his spiritual master, to the fire god, to his guests. Who was the fire god?
I like the fire god.
But I think especially that means that he was doing the daily rituals to the fire, right? And he was. This is the picture of, we don't really quite have a Western counterpart to this. It's all we can really say is, like, when I was a kid, like my grandfather, he'd go to church every day, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, he went to church every day. Like, he was really into it, It's kind
of, but they went every day. My mother too. Every day went to church.
Your mother went to church every day?
Yeah, my mother went to church every day. Remember? I think she said so on the podcast.
Maybe that's why Jesus came to her when you were born.
Maybe.
Or maybe he never did.
Or maybe I'm anointed.
But so when you say that he was respectful to the fire god, I believe what that's saying is that he was doing the daily fire rituals every day, making offerings to God through the fire. It just means he had a schedule of dharmic religious activity, and he was steadily, religiously performing it. Okay, fire god, guests.
Guests. You got to treat your guests like they're God. When
they
come to the house, what can I get you? As soon as they come in, you sit them down. Can I get you a glass of water?
What do you need?
You serve them. In the old days, they'd wash their feet because people were walking. Yeah, give them a little coffee cake, a little Entenmann's crumb cake.
A Sanka.
A little Sanka. You make your guests feel welcome. The people don't do that anymore. People don't even want guests at their house. You can't even show up at a person's house anymore. Hey, I was in the neighborhood. Like, oh, well, why didn't you text? You didn't text? You just came in. I've got stuff going on. Get off my lawn. We were just on a Japa walk, and there were so many warning signs like, this is private property. It's like, oh, all right, well, okay.
You still see it in Indian culture, the idea to treat the guests very well.
Are you kidding, man? We get invited in people's homes all the time.
Yeah.
And they actually get hurt. You're going to be in my town and you will not come for our meal? It's like, if someone comes to our house, not only do we not welcome them, we definitely don't cook them a meal. We're just like, are you kidding? We don't even cook for ourselves practically. We're just eating Lara bars all the time.
Yeah.
Poor Kastuba's
They're all in that closet right over there.
Come on over, Kastu. We got a Lara bar waiting for you.
The closet door is open right now. I see it behind you right
now. Cindy lunch for every time I go there. She would have a beautiful tray of Lara bars for me. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay. So he's doing all the religious, dharmic stuff. This was his past.
Okay.
Fire god,
worship the guests.
Elderly.
And elderly members of his household.
That's also part of the respectful, dharmic. Gotta respect the
parents do everything for us when we're vulnerable little toddlers. How about taking care of the elders?
Okay. How
about taking care of them, not just shipping them off somewhere?
Even if you just got to respect them because they're old. I mean, just that.
I hate when people disrespect. I know when they're old, and sometimes they're old and cranky and crotchety. And guess what?
You got to tell
you were a crotchety toddler, and they dealt with you.
Right.
You were a crotchety little toddler. You were defecating everywhere.
Oh man.
You remember? And they tolerated you, and they wiped your butt. Now tolerate them. They're going to say some crotchety things. They're going to say some things you don't want to hear. They're going to talk about politics and drive you crazy. They're going to talk about the weather and their arthritis. And you know what? Tolerate them.
Be respectful.
Love them like they loved you.
And then you'll probably, hopefully find some of the good stuff underneath too, right? It's like if they're just shown respect, their wisdom will come out. And
what's that Mark Twain quote? It's sort of like, when I was 13, my parents were so dumb. But now that I'm 23, I'm amazed at how much they've learned so quickly.
That's
Something like
that's pretty good.
something like that.
Okay. All right. So he's been respectful and religious.
And elderly members of the household. Indeed, he
rituals.
was free. They're still talking about him. Indeed, he was free from false prestige. That's a big one.
Wow.
He was upright. That means
Upright citizen.
An upright citizen brigade. Benevolent to all living entities. And well behaved.
Okay.
He would never speak nonsense or envy to anyone. So this is like, this great soul. And this great soul, I'm just going to tell you what happened.
It's called Pakka Brahmana, right? He's like
Pakka, he's first class. Pakka means like first class. Right?
Yeah.
Pakka is first class and Kacha is second class.
Is it Kacha?
Kacha.
Kacha.
So when you have a feast, you have Pakka. For like a special holiday, you have Pakka. Like when you eat things that are tasty on feast days, like a puri is Pakka.
Okay.
You know that?
Extra.
Chapati is actually considered Kacha.
Second class.
Second class, because it's it's just like
not cooked in ghee.
It's not cooked in ghee. But,
that's what it comes down to.
It's interesting.
Deep fried and delicious.
Deep fried. Oh man, I miss Vrindavan so bad. I miss Vrindavan so bad right now.
We'll be there soon.
Yeah,
a couple months.
I booked my ticket. I'm excited. Me and Castillo were on the same flight.
Yeah, Mara too.
Mara too.
Mara will be there too, Ragana.
You're gonna be there. Okay.
But we split up as soon as we get there.
What's that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll fly together. We'll
come down to Mayapur and visit.
We'll hold pinkies. Let's hold pinkies on the plane. No one will see.
We're not even sitting next to each other, so
we'll
that's
put the
not
blanket
happening.
over our hand so no one can see. But we know that we're deeply connected.
All right. Let's just leave it there with knowing.
We won't tell anyone. Yeah, let's leave it there. Okay. Sujra. Okay, so this is what happened on 58 to 60. Listen, so here's this great Brahmin living this very Pakka first class life.
Yeah.
Check out what happened. Once this Brahmin, Ajamila, following the order of his father, went to the forest to collect fruits. Flowers.
You always had to turn it into a cartoon. Okay, go ahead.
and to pick two kinds of grass called samit and kusha. Now, I don't know what samit is, but kusha, it's an auspicious grass that you use for...
it's used in the rituals.
In rituals, yeah. So he's doing like Brahminical duties.
Yeah.
But on the way home, he came upon a Sudra, low-class person, a very lusty fourth-class man. Okay. Who was shamelessly embracing and kissing a prostitute. Right. So generally, like this public affection, even for like, it's not done in India. You don't see it so much.
What to speak on this level?
Yeah. What to speak of if they're having sex or something like that. You don't see that. And so the wandering senses, like, right, the eyes affect the mind. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sudra was smiling, singing, and enjoying as if it was proper behavior. Both the Sudra and the prostitute were drunk.
Oh, yeah.
The prostitute's eyes were rolling back in intoxication, and her dress had become loose. Such was the condition in which Ajamila saw them. Right. So once you have one of these effects, it's like that's the problem with like pornography. I think with a lot of men struggle with they let it in a little.
Then you can't let it go.
And then their foot, it's like Maya's foot gets trapped in the door, sticks her foot in the door, and then you get sucked into this. I tell you this, men, don't open the door a hair.
Keep it shut.
For things like these type of mental fantasies, which are
just
not
make
based
you
in
weaker
real.
And weaker and weaker.
They make you weaker. They break you down, and what they do is they kill actual intimacy when you want to fall in love with a person in this world, a partner, because it's not based in reality, and it becomes your meditation. These are very powerful tamasic meditations, pornography. And so cut it, just draw the line in the sand. And if you struggle with it, then you need to seek out some help for that, because it's a big problem in our
Bhakti Recovery Group.
Yeah, Bhakti Recovery Group is there. And don't hate yourself for it. Don't shame yourself for it, but face it and get over it.
The sooner you face it, the better.
The sooner you face it, the better, because it's not going to fulfill you, and it can take you to dark places. And we're hearing the story right now. This isn't just some like fairy tale. This ruins his life.
Yeah, it did. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, this is very important. We're going to text 61. It has to.
Okay. The Sudra, his arm decorated with turmeric powder.
It's a turmeric powder.
What? Was embracing the prostitute. Why is that important?
Prabhupada speaks a little bit about this. He says,
okay. What?
Okay. He says, it is said that if one's body is smeared with turmeric, it attracts the lusty desires of the opposite sex. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I know they smear turmeric powder. Maybe I should try that today when I go out to Home Depot today. Hello.
I think it was a bit of a different world back then.
Well, before in the wedding ceremony, they smear the woman's body with
the day before, like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they give a healthy glow.
Oh, they smear the men's body with turmeric too, huh?
That's kind of like these people that go into the tanning booth, maybe it's that kind of thing, it's kind of like you want a kind of a luster.
Yeah. Laura Bina says on the message board, young children and teens are exposed to porn advertisements and free porn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's very, very scary. Yeah. And you're back in the old days when everything was just in print, you had to jump through a lot of hoops if you wanted some pornography, unless your dad had some as a kid. They were in the back shelf of the candy store.
Sounds like you jumped through a few of those hoops.
No, we had a porn magazine like in the woods. We hid it. It was soaking wet, waterlogged. We kept it in an old pipe. But that was it, though.
That was it.
The pages are melted together.
It's not like you had it on your phone with you all the time.
No, kids can walk around and press anything in the privacy of their. And we've created sort of like a secret second life. And it's a problem. It's a very problem, because kids from a young age, if they have any proclivity to do it, they can get addicted, and it can take them down a very, very slippery slope. And that's a problem.
So stay away from pornography, and also turmeric, put it in the food. Don't rub it on your body.
Yeah.
Okay. His arm is decorated with turmeric powder. He was embracing the prostitute, and when Ajamila saw her,
the dormant lusty desires in his heart awakened, and in illusion he felt under their control.
Okay.
And that was it. The slope. One little step on the slope.
That was all it took. Started sliding. And that sliding changed his entire life. And that's the problem with tamasic things, is you engage in them a little, they become highly addictive, and then you can't. It's like tripping down a well. It's one thing to trip; it's another thing to trip down a well, right? So it's one thing if we trip a little and pull ourselves back up. We make mistakes in this world, but when we play with fire, we can burn ourselves tremendously. Things like drugs and alcohol. You can say, "Well, what's the big deal?" It's just a little bit. Just guess what? People are doing 12-step programs for things they did a little bit. They're going to like Tuesday night meetings in St. Lutheran Church just to deal with their wine addiction or their. What are you laughing at? St. Lutheran. Just blending Christian words, cutting them in half, sewing them together. It's okay. No, that's good. Point is important.
I thought you were laughing because I had a good analogy, but you were laughing at my dumbness.
No, it's cool. Let's finish this chapter. There's a few verses left.
Let's do it, Kastuba. Yeah. You're the one who signed in late.
I didn't. I was there all the time.
62. As far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras, right? The sacred literature.
Yeah.
Not even to see a woman.
That's probably from the brahmachari monk.
From the brahmachari days
that he had.
You're just not hanging out with the girls, right?
Yeah.
With the hell, you're right. You didn't dally. That was part of being a brahmachari. You didn't dally with ladies. You still see this in India traditionally. You don't like boys are holding hands. Boys are like holding hands, walking hand in hand, because you want that affection, but you just don't do it with the opposite sex. Why? Because you end up like butter and fire. You melt, and then that brings up a bunch of other issues. So for me, it was a little shocking, truthfully, whenever I went to India and I saw there was actually, even with little children, there's almost like an inherent separation that goes on. And sometimes when we try to put that in American culture, it comes off a little weird or a little fanatical. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So he tried to control his lusty desires, but
please help me finish the chapter.
But
with the as far as possibly, patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras. Okay, with the help of the knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desires, but because of the force of Cupid, right, within his heart, he failed to control his mind. Right, in the same way that the sun and the moon are eclipsed by a low planet, the Brahmana lost all his good sense. Taking advantage of this situation, he always thought of this prostitute, and within a short time, he took her as a servant in the house and abandoned all the regulative principles of a Brahmana.
Just all those good habits, he just started losing them one after, just dropping them.
Yeah. Hey, you need a job? I can help you. Yeah. And it's just like, it's like getting obsessed with the person in the workplace. You know, you just can't stop thinking of that person. I don't have a workplace. Don't look at me like that. I don't work. That's what I do. I'm obsessed with Kastuba in the workplace.
I know.
Okay, keep going, Raghunath. Let's finish this chapter.
Thus, Ajamila began spending whatever money he had inherited from his father.
Oh, man.
To satisfy the prostitute with various material presentations so that she would remain pleased with him. He gave up all his Brahminical activities to satisfy her. Because his intelligence was pierced by the lustful glance of the prostitute. She was probably pretty. The victimized Brahmana Ajamila engaged in sinful acts in her association. He even gave up the company of his very beautiful young wife. So he already had a wife.
He had a wife, beautiful young wife. You could imagine she was probably very dharmic as well.
Yeah, but she probably just didn't give in to all his lusty desires.
Or whatever. He just became captivated with the other one. You know, it's like, it doesn't even have to make sense.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. You know, you're married and there's, we got a babysitter in the house, and the father falls in love with the babysitter.
And she was from a very respectable Brahmana family. So this is
babysitter was not young, by the way. That would be weird.
This is really where it gets dark, is that he had a commitment to another human being intimately. He had a wife, right?
Yeah.
And now he's throwing that out. Look at the position it puts her in.
And well, this is the position of anything addictive, is you throw out your common sense. You throw out your family. You throw out your career. You throw out your affection with your children just to get your need met. That's why it's so selfish.
And this is why the Yamadutas is saying he deserves to have to go see hell and to go through that. Look what he's doing to others.
He's got to learn his lesson.
Okay.
Right. Although born of a Brahmin family, this rascal, bereft of intelligence because of the prostitute's association, earned money somehow or other, regardless of whether properly or improperly.
Oh, now he's hurting other people that way.
And used it to maintain the prostitute's sons and daughters.
So now he's out cheating other people, robbing from other people. He has to pay for that.
Yeah, and he's got all these
got to be reformed
stepkids. This Brahmana irresponsibly spent his long lifetime transgressing all the rules, and this is the problem about tripping in a well. Sometimes you let somebody into your life, and then you can't get out. Careful who you let in your life. Therefore, he is full of sins. I just read this thing about sin. This Brahmana, this Brahmana irresponsibly spent his long lifetime transgressing all the rules and regulations of the holy scriptures, the Shastra, living extravagantly and eating food prepared by the prostitute. Therefore, he's full of papam.
Okay.
Problematic. He is unclean and he is addicted to forbidden activities. This man, Ajamila, did not undergo any atonement for it. Therefore, because of this life, we must take him into the presence of Yamaraj so he can learn his lesson for some type of punishment, right? You get some karma. There, according to this extent of his activities, he'll be punished and thus purified. It's not just like we're just going to strangle him. It's like He's gonna has to learn a lesson here. There's a lesson you
off.
get. There's some karma that you get, and this karma is meant to bring you higher.
You know, the atonement could have done it, right? Like built into the acts of atonement are ideas of, you know what I'm going to do tomorrow, Raghunath?
What?
I'm going to go to the Manu Samhita and we'll bring some Manu Samhita atonement in.
The Manu Samhita is so crazy.
but it'll show
acts of
kind of like
atonement are unbelievable. I mean, okay,
the
bring in
idea
some extreme ones. There's some real.
You come through the atonement and you realize it was really wrong what I did. I'm never going to do it again. Like the act of atonement is meant to actually purify you. Not that you just kind of save yourself from having to go through the karma, but you get the realization that the karma is meant to deliver. And they're saying he didn't do any atonement, so now he's got to pay the price karmically, and we'll get to that. So that's did you finish? You read the last verse?
That's it.
Okay, so that's the end of this chapter. Now,
that's the end of the chapter.
Next chapter, the Vishnudutas are going to respond, but we'll hear a little bit about atonement tomorrow morning.
But first, let's hear some takeaway goody nuggets.
I got a lot of takeaways today.
Do
everything as an offering as beautifully as possible.
You got to turn the camera a little over there to mirror. I think, yeah, there we go.
Can you stop like scrolling around?
Scrolling around.
You're moving
attention.
all the
I'm
pages
being
back and
mindful
forth.
and present with all the people on Zoom.
No, but be present with the takeaways. Hear them.
I am. I have
Okay,
two
here's one of our
ears.
takeaways. Be mindful as an offering to God.
Be mindful, Raghunath.
Yep. We used to sing that song in church. All that you, it was very similar to Yad Karoshi Yad Ashnashi. All that you do, all that we ever have, I offer now to you. Take and sanctify these gifts for your honor, Lord, knowing that I love and serve you is enough reward.
Okay, enough. That's enough for this song. Okay, Mara.
Song. I went to folk mass.
All right.
Let the home purge ourselves of our ego.
With the
Oh, okay. I can see that. The whole family life and all that.
See the daily minutia as our final sandpaper.
Oh,
the daily minutia. It's
sounds like a newspaper. Like, but
don't look at it as the daily manure. Look at it as it sounds like a newspaper, the Daily Minutia, and Krishna, editor-in-chief of the Daily Minutia.
The Daily Minutia.
Change your consciousness and do your duties with devotion.
There you go.
Our love is like a ship on the
Come
ocean.
on.
We are sailing with this cargo full of love and devotion. Boom! That's a great song.
Invest love in all you do.
Please.
Yes.
Sattva isn't the goal.
Nah. It's fun. It's good. It's pleasurable.
Untie our knots of anger and resentment.
Untie the granny knot. You know what a granny knot is?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a Boy Scout thing, granny knot. Okay.
Careful who you let in your life.
Yeah. That's a lesson for you. Tattoo that on your chest.
And respect your elders. You were a crotchety toddler.
That's
crotchety parent. Don't worry about your crotchety parent. You were a crotchety toddler, you little crotcher.
Someone just busted into your door over there, Rogan. Who's that over there?
Oh, that's Boofish.
A Boofish.
He's busted. Ah! Home invasion caught on Zoom. Thanks everybody for joining us. Whoa, Sweet Baby Krishna tonight at 8 p.m. for Patreon members. You want to become a Patreon member? You can join us tonight. You can do that. You can sign for patreon.com/wisdom of the sages. That help us get back to zero. We went down. Our Patreon numbers dropped, and we want to bring that up. We want to bring it high, real high, because stupid needs a gold tooth. We want to help spread this. We're constantly thinking about how to spread what we're doing, because we think it's the best medicine for Kali Yuga. It is. That's not our theory. That's what the gurus have all said. In Kali Yuga, nothing beats the holy name and spreading the teachings of the Bhagavatam. Thanks everybody for joining us live Zoom. You can join us live in Zoom, email Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Sweet Baby Krishna tonight at 8 o'clock. You can check the link. Thanks for everyone for joining us. Thanks to those others out there that are listening. We don't even know they're out there. Send us a email. Tell us how you got here, or go to Apple Podcasts and write a review. Give us 5 stars, please. It helps us with the algorithms. It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Keep your hands in the air. Say, howdy, Bo. Let the magic continue to fly.